First Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Essayli, thank you so much for making time for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So you said earlier this week you opened voter fraud investigations. What's the status of those right now?
Yeah, so there's a few things going on. One thing is, there's a lot of talk in the media that there's no evidence of voter fraud. So we just wanted to be very clear about that there is evidence. And in fact, we charged a case just last month of an individual who was paying homeless people to register to vote with fictitious information. So that's not a theory. There is evidence of voter fraud. And what I've said is that we have other similar multiple investigations that are ongoing. Under long-standing DOJ rules, we can't discuss the specifics of any investigation, but they are ongoing, and I do believe they will result in criminal charges in the near future.
Okay. Are you able to say if like any one governmental, like state or local agency is under investigation by your office?
So we don't ever discuss who's under investigation or what the nature of the investigation is, and that's to protect mainly innocent people in case we don't end up charging them, but also the integrity of the investigation. What I have said is we will follow the evidence wherever it goes, and we have various investigations at various stages. So some of them are more developed and they're ready to charge. Others are brand new and being worked up, and we are getting tips every day from the public of potential leads of new cases. So there's a lot of things going on. It is not just one case. There are multiple cases. I think sort of the question you're getting to, Ashley, and a lot of reporters will ask is this widespread fraud? How spread is it? And I think that's really the question we're trying to answer. I don't have an answer for that because those require intense investigations. And so what I can say right now is is there evidence of fraud? Yes, there are. Are they just multiple isolated incidences, or is there some bigger connection to the two? That's under investigation, and we're going to get to the bottom of that. But what I don't understand is the resistance from leaders, elected officials, and the media to resist looking into these claims. And so we're not prejudging anything. We're not concluding anything. All I've said is our office is taking this seriously. We'll follow the evidence wherever it goes. There are investigations. They will result in charges. And we'd like to get to the bottom of how widespread this goes. And, that's also why we're calling for an audit. I think the audit is the best way to reassure the public that there isn't widespread fraud. And that's something that we've demanded the state of California comply with. But so far, they've resisted.
I want to actually talk about that audit in a second. But just to circle back, I know you mentioned the media. People are pointing out that there is no proof of fraud. I mean, a lot of that is related to the president's comments about this election. He's claiming it's rigged. And I know your office, again, is making clear that you're investigating. But have you been talking with the president? Like, where is he getting the idea that it could be rigged?
I mean, you'll have to ask the White House about that. I mean, I think what the president is saying is he's frustrated. I think a lot of us were, as a former legislator in Sacramento. Rigged doesn't necessarily have to mean illegal. I mean, when you talk about the way California conducts elections, most people would consider that highly suspicious. The fact that they don't check citizenship status when you register to vote, the fact that you can register to vote with a gym membership card, a lot of people think that's suspicious. The fact that California does universal vote by mail, so everyone gets a ballot in the mail, whether you're dead or alive, whether you want one or you don't, that's suspicious. The fact that California allows unregulated ballot harvesting, meaning anyone can go handle and solicit people's ballots and there's no chain of custody, that's suspicious. And that's actually something that's outlawed in a lot of states. And then on top of that, we have no voter ID. So I think, the president, when he says rigged, people are thinking like, quote unquote fraud, but I think he's referring to just the entire system as a whole breeds suspicion, and it's not one that promotes the idea that we have integrity in our elections.
Okay, so back to the audit that you're trying to do on the voter rolls. Is that a statewide audit? Were you seeking specific jurisdictions? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is something that we've been litigating for the better part of the last year. Harmeet Dillon, who's the head of our civil rights section in our office, has been trying to audit the state voter rolls for the state of California. There are various civil rights statutes, including HAVA and NVRA, that give the Attorney General the authority to request the voter rolls to confirm compliance with federal law. Federal law requires the state of California to make sure only citizens are registered to vote. And so we want to do the audit to confirm compliance. This is a civil statute, so we have to go through the civil court process. We've sued California for refusing to comply with that audit. We're in court litigating that. It's up on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That is ongoing. We're hoping for a ruling soon, and we'll continue litigating that. But I don't understand why California would not want to reassure the public that there is nothing nefarious, there is nothing suspicious with their voter rolls. An audit and transparency is the best way to reassure voters that they should have confidence in the California's election systems.
Who in our state's government blocked that specifically? Who, when you initially reached out to try to do this, who said no?
The Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, and the Attorney General indicated, and there were some letters that I published of our communications back and forth, and they basically asserted that they were not going to comply under state privacy laws, that they were not going to provide voter roll information to the federal government. We had a couple exchanges before we went to court, and I guess that would be the Attorney General who's litigating this on behalf of the Secretary of State.
And I know you've told other media outlets this, but you have proof that there are questionable aspects about the rolls.
Oh, I mean, I think the proof is all over. Just go look online on people who say that they have dead relatives who are receiving ballots. You have family members who say people who've moved out of state continue to receive ballots. There's all kinds of issues with the voter rolls not being maintained. And so I think it's no question that California's voter rolls are absolutely filthy, dirty. They're not clean. They haven't been maintained. And we have questions about who's on the voter rolls, and particularly whether any non-citizens are on those voter rolls. We know the DMV admitted a few years ago, Ashley, I know you know this, you've covered Sacramento a while. DMV admitted, I think, 4 or 5 years ago that they accidentally registered, I think, 20 or 30,000 non-citizens to vote. And so, again, this isn't like a theory. This is reality. And, California is just hoping that people ignore it, I guess, forget about it and move on. But people want answers. And, regardless of the outcome of the election, I don't care about the outcome of the election. We just want to make sure that the federal laws are being followed. And I would hope that California would want that too, because it doesn't matter who wins, the public should have confidence that they're legitimate winners of the election.
In the same vein, and apologies if I'm going back into this investigation, but I know there's a video from Skid Row that has been concerning a lot of folks online. People who appear to be unhoused are saying that groups approached them, or someone approached them to, encourage them to vote for someone, and had their ballots dealt with that way. Is that something your office can and is investigating at this point?
Yeah, we've seen those videos. They've been referred to us, and that's something we're going to take a look at. I mean, we're going to look at everything that people provide. And I've said we don't have a predetermined outcome of any case. What I will just say is we're going to follow the evidence wherever it goes. And some cases are more developed. That's why I'm confident in saying that I believe some of them will result in criminal charges. And then some of our investigations are still at the early stage. And so there's a lot of things happening at once, but this is an important issue. It's something people care about. And I think the public deserves to know if there is fraud and how much fraud's in their system. And I wish, much like healthcare fraud or hospice fraud, I wish California would work with us to try to root out these fraudsters and to prevent the fraud from occurring in the first place. But for whatever reason, I don't know if that's just their TDS or their obsession with President Trump, they just are unable to work with us. They want to fight us at every battle, every corner, instead of working with us to improve the lives and the financial stability of the people of California.
I know you had a couple of ideas and lists of things that the state could do better in terms of its elections to give people more confidence. I mean, you were the vice chairman of the Assembly's Elections Committee when you were in the state legislature. Is there anything else, though, that you think could help? Like, could counties use more resources? I mean, do you have any insight being down there now that you think could help restore confidence broadly in our elections?
Well, I think something the Trump administration has been pushing for is the voter ID requirement. There's a bill, I believe, that's being debated in Congress as we speak. I believe there's a ballot initiative that the voters are going to vote on. I think a lot of states have voter ID and citizenship requirements, and I think that would go a long way in preserving the integrity and trust in the system. I think mail ballots are unfortunately, they're here to stay. I think people generally like them, but we can work within the system to at least give people confidence that even when we're voting by mail, that it's a secure system. And so there are some proposals. We got to leave that up to the people of California how they want to move forward. But voter ID is a huge one. Cleaning the voter rolls is a simple. I mean, that sounds like a small thing. It's actually a big thing, because if you have dirty rolls, then you're going to have ballots going out. You're going to have live ballots being circulated out in the mail, and you don't know who's handling those ballots, who's filling them out, who's returning them. So there's a lot California can do. I think there's a lot of proposals, and I think ballot harvesting is very corrosive. I do. It used to be that you could only handle the ballot of yourself and your immediate family members, but now anyone can be paid to go harass people for their ballots, to go take ballots. And again, without a chain of custody, it makes it very hard for investigators to sort of figure out where these ballots came from and who filled them out. And so there's a lot of problems with the California system.
All right. Well, U.S. Attorney Bill, is there anything else you think we should know before we let you go?
No, I mean, at the Department of Justice, I'll just say I'm not the election czar. I'm not the election official. I'm not here to fix the election system. What we have said and what we will do at the Department of Justice is we're going to follow the evidence. We're going to conduct investigations. And if we determine that any federal laws were violated, we'll bring those cases forward. And that's what we're committed to doing here.
All right, Mr. First Assistant, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.